What's happening, everybody? Welcome to In the Crease with Tommy C. Dead on Dave is out. A pre-recorded instance of In the Crease with Tommy C. What are we talking about today? Because we couldn't talk about it yesterday because, actually, it appears that I have the whole streaming issue straightened out, but I'll get to that later in the show. We're talking about Patrick Kane, and probably for the last time. Hopefully, I'm sure there'll be little bits and bites there. There is some interest out there that maybe Patrick Kane will still be punished by the NHL. That's completely ridiculous, but I'm not going to cover anything like that. I'm just going to go over what's gone on in the last 24 hours, explain it all to you, and really, if you are a defender of Patrick Kane, right, how to deal with some of the people that are pretty much disappointed that this alleged victim was not raped, to hold their view of what we call rape culture together. And Adam Proto did that for me yesterday, and we'll be going over that and a little more too. We'll also be going over the facts in the case. The facts in the case. It's something that was really lost on social media, and it was really lost on the media we're supposed to trust. And I'm going to tell you how to deal with some of this stuff, and I'm going to talk to you why it's okay to defend Patrick Kane, and I'm also going to tell you why this particular case, as Adam Proto lays this out perfectly for me, did a great job to help me out today, how this case has almost nothing to do with Patrick Kane and has a lot more to do with our society at large and how we deal with cases like this. So I hope this is like sort of an educational version of In the Crease with Tommy C, because I'm certainly sick about talking about this. I kind of expressed a little indifference about talking about stuff like this. I know I'm a bit of a battler against the social justice movement, which I think is just poisoning and toxic, and also just no fun. But they're in bad shape today, and I'm going to talk about it. Let's first go over sort of a synopsis of the facts. Let's see if I can get this right here. Here we go. This is from the let's see, I don't know, WGN-TV. It's a Chicago's very own local station, and they sum it up quite nicely. A town of Hamburg Police Department and the Office of the Erie County District Attorney have conducted an exhaustive investigation over the course of the past 3 months regarding the allegations made by a 21-year-old woman that 26-year-old Patrick Kane had raped her on his bed. The investigation findings include the following, and this is all very, very important. There are significant material inconsistencies between the complainant's accounts and those of other witnesses. Well, we actually knew that before the hoax happened. We knew that there was some serious inconsistencies because of what Sports Illustrated reported. Talked to one of the women that was actually with her in Patrick Kane's home, and that was very much inconsistent what the bartender said to the media at this particular Stanley Cup party, and it was very, very inconsistent to what Patrick Kane's own driver said. Now, at the time, that really doesn't mean much of anything, but we already kind of knew that there was two sides to this story, even as early as August. The DNA results led to no collaboration whatsoever to the complaint's claim of penetration and required an element of proof for the rape charge. This is obviously the most significant. And it actually sort of kills the whole, well, he could have used a condom, which is pretty rare for rapists to do. Apparently, there wasn't penetration at all whatsoever. So that pretty much throws that out the window. The physical evidence and forensic evidence, when viewed at tandem, tend to contradict the complainant's claim that she was raped in Kane's bed. Now, from what I understand, they did DNA test on a bed. I got news for you, everybody that's listening to this or watching this. If you lay in a bed, your DNA's there, probably for up to a second. Dead on Dave's not here, obviously, so I hit the wrong button. So nothing, absolutely nothing was consistent with the with forensic evidence. What the alleged victim told the district attorney, nothing, absolutely nothing added up. Nothing added up. Most of us knew that. And if you didn't, I think the confusion lies where after the rape hoax attempt, the rape kit hoax attempt that was perpetuated by the alleged victim's mother, how could anybody in the media continue to ask for Patrick Kane to sit? Because it became very, very obvious that this case was not going to even be presented to a grand jury. That was in late September. We are now in early November. It was clear cut. It was obvious. It was done. So a lot of you are confused. Well, why would the media continue to push it the way they would? Why would they demand that Patrick Kane sit when all the evidence points away from him? Why would they do that? That's confusing. Why am I being told that there's some things more important than hockey as an excuse to continue to malign this man? Well, there are some things more important than hockey. And this would be one of them, because this hasn't got nothing to do with Patrick Kane. For those of you who don't know, in American college campuses, all over North America, including Canada, we seem to have a plethora of, in a lot of cases, false rape allegations inside college campuses. And the accusation is the evidence itself. These students, especially in the United States, are put on trials where they cannot cross-examine. Their careers are ruined. And the police are not involved. Why? Because the prevalence of rape culture being the idea that us in the West, and this is spread to the UK, I live in Germany, it's starting to spread here as well, that us in the US and the Western world are permissive about rape. Well, by any objective terms, rape being, I don't know, an ass hair off of murder, I don't understand why anybody could say that. But there's a difference between accepting something emotionally and accepting something factually. And that's what we've seen. Reporters inside the media, by and large, are on the left. That's not a secret, just the way it is. Maybe people that have left-wing ideas are more attracted to media. That's true. That may be true. Sometimes that happens. The problem becomes when they try to hold their worldviews together, and they've been taught this rape culture meme, which is dangerous. I'll get into that in a minute. And they'll do anything to hold it together. And that meme states that athletes have no respect for women and think that they are their own personal playthings. Now, they don't take these cases on individual, from case-to-case basis. This is a generalization. And these people are using that generalization to hold their worldviews together. Let's take a look at Adam Proto and the statement that he made yesterday. No, I'll get to that one in a minute. But regardless of the result of the Patrick Kane investigation, I'll always support women who deserve support. And guess what, guys? They all do. Does Eva Vaughn deserve support? Does Susan Smith, a woman that drowned her children, deserve support? Does Patrick Kane's accuser deserve support? If it can prove that she was outright lying. Because at this point, we certainly know she wasn't telling the truth. And that means she was either mentally ill or she's lying. And likely both. Since when do all men, all women deserve support? But that's really not the point here. It's a fantastic, ridiculous, stupid statement of almost biblical proportions. Regardless of the result of Patrick Kane's investigation, right now you know the facts don't matter. I'll support women who deserve support. Okay. And then he contradicts himself and says, and guess what? They all do. So I let everybody know by the first sentence that the facts don't matter. That this meme of rape culture, I've accepted this emotionally, not logically, and not by the evidence. And not even just by everyday life. I mean, this man's Canadian. He honestly believes that a majority of people, both men and women, think it's okay to rape or will make excuses for it. I'll always support women who deserve support. Well, sure. I'll support anybody I think that deserves support. And guess what? They all do, which is a complete contradiction. Certainly not. No, all women don't deserve support. All men don't deserve support. And this person doesn't deserve support. Patrick Kane deserves support in this particular instance. And the response I keep getting from making that statement on Twitter and what have you is, Patrick Kane's not your friend. I know Patrick Kane's not my friend. But if this meme of rape culture continues, this lie, this falsehood, this silly assertion that used to be in the corners of the most extreme political ideologues has now become more mainstream. It's ridiculous. I suppose I don't even know to go. I don't even really know to go into that. And my concern is not Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane will survive. My concern is the moral panic. The moral panic that this can create. The witch hunt type atmosphere. If we really believe that our culture in North America, whether it would be in the United States or whether it would be in Canada, that we are permissive towards one of the worst, most disgusting crimes on earth, people are going to start getting accused falsely. That's my concern. And yes, that is bigger than hockey. That's the issue. I got another tweet about a month ago. Why do you care so much about Patrick Kane? God damn it, I don't give a fuck about Patrick Kane. I give a fuck that all men are being generalized into rapists. I have a son on the way. I have a daughter. I don't want to make it dangerous for him to go to school. I don't want him to be afraid of women. Regardless of the accusation, regardless of the result of the investigation, I don't care. I'm holding my ears. No, I can't hear you. Thanks, Adam. You did it better than I ever could. And that's my concern. I don't want this happening to me. I don't want this happening to my son, my uncle, my father, and the men that I care about. And it's getting crazier. It's getting crazier all the time. Moral panics create witch hunts. And the simple fact of the matter, I can't speak for Canada, but the actual crime of rape has been diving like a rock since the mid-90s. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. Why introduce this false narrative of rape culture to gray the lines? All these people are doing, like Adam Proto, Grant Wyshynski, and Julie DiCarlo, and people like that. They are making it more difficult for rape victims to come out. They're making it much more difficult. And they don't care. Why? Because the meme, the false narrative of rape culture must prevail. Adam Proto again. I wrote about the Patrick Kane investigation and results of the undeniable prevalence of rape culture for hockey. Wouldn't be in hockey? Oh, for the undeniable prevalence, excuse me. I wrote the Patrick Kane investigation and results of the undeniable prevalence of rape culture for hockey buzz. The undeniable prevalence of rape culture. Well, what did he write? This is a quite different headline. The outcome of the Patrick Kane investigation doesn't mean rape culture isn't real. Have I proved it? Have I proved it? That this was not about Patrick Kane. It is about the belief in rape culture. And Patrick Kane fit the meme. He fit the narrative. White, rich, athletic. And those people commit the rapes, according to this ridiculous assertion of rape culture in North America. He has to have done it. I need that girl to have been raped. I also saw in his feed, there's a lot of people running around right now saying, I told you so, I told you so. How immature. Well, you wouldn't have gotten those responses, Adam, Greg, Julie, and probably more people than I know about, if you had not been so damn sure that he'd committed this friggin' act. And even in the face of evidence, hard evidence, when the DNA test leaked after the rape hoax happened, the hoax, that you would demand this man sit. What happens every time somebody gets accused now at work? They got to sit. They can't come to work until the thing gets straightened out in a year and a half in a court. This is about them. This is what they learned in school, and they're holding it together desperately, like a creationist. If you ever seen these creationists on YouTube desperately trying to hold on to the creation myth versus a scientist, they need to hold on to rape culture. Adam Proto writes this, in reality, there is no comparing the two. According to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, there are nearly 300,000 sexual assaults every year in America. Nobody anywhere has proof that 300,000 women are willing to say falsely under the threat of criminal prosecution that they've been assaulted, in the hope that there is a pot of gold at the end of it. Indeed, only 2 to 8% of rape allegations are made untruthfully. To believe the gold digger culture and the rape culture to believe a gold digger culture and rape culture are equally problematic is to gain full permanent residence status in the land of false equivalence. I don't think anybody would deny that more men rape women than women are willing to pull a stunt to get paid at the end of the day. Simply on the grounds that there's not enough men to take all their money. And certainly athletes, the odds go way up that something, or rich men in general, the odds just go way, 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 way up that they'll be targeted. Certainly that would be the case. But this is Adam holding on to a belief. You live in North America. You live in Finland. You live in Sweden. You live in the UK. You live in Canada. You live in the Western United States, Northern, Central, South. How many people you know that think it's okay? How many people you know that supported Patrick Kane only supported Patrick Kane because she deserved it? How many people you know supported Patrick Kane in the simple fact that I'm a Blackhawks fan? I guarantee you it was a minority to the people that were concerned that this guy was getting railroaded by the media. And here we see Adam Proto desperately, pathetically hanging on to this. I'm going to put a link in below just to end this debate ever. Her name is Christina Hoff Summers. The rape culture myth is based around something called the 1 in 5. 1 in 5 women will be sexually assaulted, or 1 in 5 women on college campuses will be sexually assaulted or are every year. It was 1 in 4 when I was a kid. Now it's 1 in 5, and it just flips back and forth. It has been totally and completely debunked, and Christina Hoff Sommers can do it a lot better than I can. 300,000 reported by the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. 300,000. Well, it's only about anywhere from 90 to 100,000 according to FBI statistics. Now, certainly, not all sexual assaults go reported. But even if it's 300,000 in a country of 300 million, approaching 4, there's hardly evidence of that we are permissive towards rape. And all Adam Proto and his ilk serve to do is generalize and hurt men of all ethnicities, of all backgrounds. That's all this does. It just hurts people. Men are not getting married like they once were. Men are not going to college. They're dropping out of college more often. And I think this has something to do with it. And yeah, it's bigger than hockey. It's bigger than Patrick Kane. And that's probably bigger than Patrick Kane ever really knew or understood. If you have men in your life that you love like I do, honorable men, this should be a concern for you. The mainstream media believes this, and they will believe it in spite of evidence. Certainly, Patrick Kane deserved the benefit of the doubt, and so did the alleged victim. But we've come to a point in time in late September where the Patrick Kane, the alleged victim, did not deserve the benefit of the doubt. We passed that point, yet these guys kept it together. And what did you hear? Well, he could have used a condom. Well, he could have done this. He could have done that. Julie DiCarlo outright reporting falsehoods, saying the rape kit was the actual kit wasn't collected correctly. Falsehoods. That there was problem extracting the evidence. Excuse me. That's what Julie DiCarlo said. Her sources say that. She made it up. And she can hide behind anonymous sources. Hide. She made it up. And after she made it up, she cowardly. Didn't show up for work because she said she was afraid to go to work. Okay, Buttercup. Another person that needed this to keep going. Even going as far as saying, I'm not sure if I wanted him to sit or not. I was kind of on the fence back and forth about it. No, you wanted him to sit. My message to the NHLPA, please straighten this shit out. You got to change your collective bargaining agreement. The NHL should not be deciding what evidence, what is suspendable without. I mean, nobody in the NHL should be deciding doing police work. And I'm pretty sure the NHL did police work here, and I think they did it in the Slava Voinov case. Voinov looked guilty. Kane didn't. Now, there's always going to be the folks out there that want to keep the rape culture thing going. Well, the only reason they stuck up for Kane is because Voinov's not a superstar. Kane is. Would that be some part of it? Yeah, maybe. But if it was obvious this crime was committed, and even if they wanted to keep him on the cover, he lost his keep him as one of their selling points, which he didn't even show up for the World Cup ceremony over the summer. That would have been the guy to sell the World Cup. They kept him away. For the most part, they stayed out of it, as they should, and they should always stay out of it. The NHLPA needs to have the situation like you have to at least be charged to sit. The other thing that drives me nuts is the one that, well, at least we had a conversation about this this terrible issue, whether it's true or not. We're having an open conversation about sexual assault, and that's important. Well, I heard that on Rolling Stone, and I heard that in Duke Lacrosse, and I heard that with the Mattress Girl. You know where I didn't hear that? Kobe Bryant. Do the math. Now, Kobe Bryant his accusation was completely ridiculous. Was totally ridiculous. But the media stuck up for him. And rightfully so. I don't think, and I think if you check that case before the DNA evidence became pretty much in Colby's favor, if I remember correctly, that case, I knew the victim's name within a first week. I didn't learn this alleged victim's name until about 30 days in. The media rallied around Colby. And they simply didn't care, regardless of the facts. It was Patrick Kane. That's bigger than hockey. It's a lot bigger than hockey. It's a joke. Yeah, we have a problem here. But it's not an abundance of sexual assault. We have a bunch of extremists trying to pigeonhole men, regardless of evidence. And they've succeeded on college campuses. Don't let them succeed in everyday life. Don't let them succeed in the workforce. Make these issues be about equality. True equality, not superiority. And I don't see that from modern day feminism. Rape culture, feminism, extremist left-wing views created the situation, or made it actually a case. That's really what it comes down to. Facts were not relevant, and when they no longer could be ignored, we saw stuff like this, regardless of the result of Patrick Kane's investigation. No apologies to Patrick Kane. No apologies. Yeah, I guess the fact that rape culture, regardless of the outcome of this particular case, it doesn't mean that rape culture doesn't exist. That's actually a true statement. It's 100% true. But do you think we would have heard the same thing had Patrick Kane been beyond a reasonable doubt guilty, charged, put in prison for 15 to 20 years? I guarantee you that would have been an example of rape culture. Get out of my crease.